Okay. Are we taping or no? Can you tell? Are we taping? Yes, we are. All right, we're taping. All right, man. I went back and looked at that video that I had of the procedure to tighten up the spring pressure on these, and I don't think I was close enough to the camera for you to really see what was going on. So I'm trying to aim my face towards the camera, and I'm trying to keep I'm watching on both sides of it right now to make sure that I stay in focus. Okay, so you got this little part right here, which is the upper plastic piece. You're normally going to be looking down on it from this side, right? Well, on the bottom side, that's where your cutter would attach to these little two arm pieces right here on the bottom. Once you get it apart and you get the blade off of there, you'll see it. The cutter blade is fastened or stuck to a little plastic piece, and then that whole piece is attached to these two little springs right here. And however much spring down you see from the side, that's all the amount of spring pressure that you're going to have pushing that cutter down and away towards the comb that is mounted on the bottom side of this. See what I'm saying? So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to put a little more spring tension in this half piece right here. Oh, by the way, while you're looking at this thing, always when you disassemble these, go back at the very back in this, right back here in this corner, or this back side, a round part, and look really, really good right here. It'll be on the top side that you're normally looking down at, but there is a little nub right there that has to be. Let me get this in the camera so you're going to be able to see. I want to make sure I'm not. It's going to be right here. That's where the little nub will be, on the top side of where you're looking down if you had it connected to the clippers. There'll be a little nub right here. And if that nub gets broken off this little plastic piece right here, the blade won't attach to the clippers. It'll go on there and work. As soon as you let go, it'll fall right back off, because this piece right here is not catching on the clippers, and that means that this top piece needs to be replaced. So if you got one with a broken top piece, don't be jacking with it anyway, right? Throw it in the trash and get a new one. And these things are brand new, about $3. You can buy them from Fort Worth Shaver and a couple other different places. But even when I buy one of these brand new, I am exaggerating the spring tension just a little bit, because 5-in-1s are known for not having enough spring tension between the cutter and the comb, okay? And a lot of times when they run into a spot and it starts folding hair, what is actually happening is it's getting hair in between the cutter and the comb, because it doesn't have enough spring tension to keep it out, or it doesn't have enough spring tension to evacuate it out the sides. So the way that we go about adding a little bit more spring tension, we're going to take the housing piece just like this, we're going to turn it on the bottom, and we're going to take our little wolf pig stone, we're just going to push in just like that underneath the edges of the spring, okay, until that catches right here. It actually catches. Let me see if I can get in the camera. It actually catches right here on the plastic. I'm going to move this from all sides so you can see what this looks like. On one side, you're going to have the spring billies popping up, right? And this stone is going to be flush to the rest of that housing. Flush to the top part. Yeah, it's stuck in there and it's physically flush. And what that's going to do, more overly, is just hold that spring in place. Because a lot of times what happens is when we go to bend these spring arms, I used to bend them individually, and when I would bend them individually, I'd get done, and one would be up a little bit more than the other, or whatever, or one would be pushed out a little too far, or whatever. And what that does is when you reassemble it, when you put it all back together, the cutter would be aligned on top of the comb in the wrong direction, or off one side or the other a little bit, or be screwed up. So we want to make sure that if we do any manipulation of this spring, that we do it to both sides, and we do it exactly the same on both sides. And my way of going about that, of course, if you put too much spring tension in there, the fucking blade won't even function. You know what I mean? When you plop it back on the clippers, it'll just sit there and buzz or hum, because it can't work because you got too much spring tension. So you don't want to have too much spring tension. So the best way to go about getting as much spring tension as you can without altering these springs in some manner, which is going to be a problem, you're going to pop that thing under the stone, and we're going to hold it up at the front right here like that, and then in the back, see what happens is, see how these little spring pieces start popping up higher? Well, we're going to go and we're going to use a pair of pliers. You can buy a bunch of different ones. These are the ones that I use. They look like a little round hootie hoot, and I'm going to grab it on the top like that, and then I'm going to go to the bottom and I'm going to grab it right underneath here. Okay, and I'm going to line that up just like that, and I'm going to physically, let's see if I can get this on camera here where I can see. Yes, and I'm going to physically push down on that until it stops. See that? I got it all the way down, and it is stopped in the housing. It's going to bounce it there a couple times. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, now I know that side's done. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to grab right there and right there. I'm trying to make sure I can stay in the camera and look at this thing at the same time, which is hard to do. Hold on. And there we go. Boom. Bam, bam, bam. Where am I at? Okay. And I got that pushed all the way down. We'll push it a couple times. Now, these have actually, it doesn't look like it, but they have actually been bent up that way to where you're going to have a little bit more spring tension. And it's not so much that it's going to cause the clipper to hang up. It's just going to add like an extra quarter, maybe half of a pound at the most, of spring tension in between the cutter that we're going to end up popping back on these and reassembling. And we know that both sides have been adjusted evenly. So that's about as thorough and I think about as good a camera work as I can do to give you an idea of what you need to be doing on these spring halves, or on these 5-in-1 half pieces, to give yourself a little more spring tension, but do it in a safe manner where it's going to end up the same on both sides. I hope that helps you, buddy.